What's up everybody, it's Robin Gaming here. So the time is literally flying. We have a little less than 4 weeks left until E3 2018 is already gonna be here, and I think by now I don't need to tell this to you anymore. I'm super excited, I'm sure that you are too. What I wanted to do in this video is predict the entire Sony press conference, which is of course the show that I am looking forward to the most. Now, obviously, most of you will know that this video is kind of coming in the wake of this massive announcement by Sony about their press conference, where they were essentially already preparing us for what was or what is going to be shown. They've said on their PlayStation blog that they're going to be focusing on 4 major titles, which are Death Stranding, The Last of Us Part 2, Ghost of Tsushima, and Spiderman. So that's basically the 3 major games for 2019, and Spiderman still for this year. Now, that's not exactly surprising that they're going to be focusing on those games, because I think we expected all of those to be shown to some extent at this E3. At the same time though, I'm not gonna lie to you, I kind of, you know, having read this article, it made me, or this blog post or whatever, it made me a little less excited about what is going to be, going to be happening at this show. And don't get me wrong, those 4 games are gonna be amazing, right? Like, all 4 of them I have a lot of faith in. But at the same time, what makes an E3 exciting to me are the surprises. And to me, the way they worded it with like, oh, we're gonna focus on these games, and yes, you can still expect, you know, announcements from third-party and independent studios, this and that. The way they worded it just made it come across like they were trying to temper your expectations a little bit, because of course we've seen amazing press conferences from Sony at E3 2015 and 2016, where they were announcing all of these games out of the blue that you didn't see coming, that kind of blew you away, right? And then last year was a little disappointing because it was essentially a repeat of 2016 again. And I think what they're very much doing is already telling you right now, well, this year is gonna kind of be the same thing where, you know, there's a lot of stuff that you already know is gonna be shown off. We're gonna show that off, and apart from that, there's not a whole lot there necessarily that's super exciting. And, you know, that's basically the one thing that I do have to point out before we get into this, because I had major expectations at the beginning of this year, where I was talking about Bloodborne 2, possibly the next Order game from Ready at Dawn, or their new IP or whatever, that would be shown off. Having read this now, I've kind of decided for this predictions video on the entire Sony show that I'm gonna keep it very realistic, and in that way maybe a little minimal, because I just don't think anymore that we're gonna see that much new stuff, that much surprising stuff, right? Still a couple of things for sure, but yeah, let's actually get into it, right? Because we've been rambling about this for minutes now, I feel. I wrote down my predictions to the left of me, so I'll be looking there every now and then, you know, for what I exactly wrote down. So let's start off at the beginning. What is going to be the opening game that they'll start off with? I had 2 games in mind here that could either open or end the show, and those are Death Stranding and The Last of Us Part 2, because I think those 2 are really the major, the two biggest Sony exclusives still coming up, right? For the opening, I think Death Stranding is gonna be what they'll start with. Why am I saying that? For 2 reasons. I think it's because Last of Us is just the typical type of game to end your show with, because you know people are gonna absolutely love it and are gonna go crazy over it, and then it's gonna, you know, blow everyone away and this and that. So they're gonna save that for the end. I think Death Stranding is kind of the game where people are very much curious about it, right? And so I can't wait to see this gameplay reveal, because I'm not gonna lie, it's the thing I'm looking forward to the most. Death Stranding, to me right now, is my most anticipated upcoming exclusive. Purely for the sense of intrigue that I got from it, that I don't know what to expect. Yeah, and going into it, you know, knowing that I was a huge fan of Kojima's games in the past. So, can't wait to see that gameplay reveal. At the same time, I will say, you know, of course, E3 2016, they did this orchestra thing. 2017, they had the Lost Legacy type opening, also kind of with instruments and stuff, right? I think for Death Stranding, opening with that game means that they can do something very weird or out of the ordinary, pretty much unexpected. I don't know exactly what that is, but you know that Death Stranding is this crazy type of, like, we don't even know what's going on in that game. And so, no doubt that they'll find some really weird and mysterious way to open the show with that game. Or they're just gonna, you know, cut straight into it and it starts off immediately with a gameplay clip. Yeah, and again, I'm super curious to see what that gameplay is about, but that's basically what I think that we're gonna open with. We are already like, what, 6 minutes or something into this video, and I've just talked about the opening, so it's gonna be a long video. What's coming up next is a couple more exclusives. I think Ghost of Tsushima is pretty much the game that you would have as your second one to show off, because that's also one where, of course, a lot of people are interested in it, but it hasn't exactly, with the first trailer, you know, already left this impact where you're like, oh, I can't wait for this game. No, we need to see what it's actually about. That original trailer was very promising to me. Graphics looked insane, and I liked the setting, and, you know, just kind of like the views that they showed, very colorful and nice. Sucker Punch, I have a lot of faith in, so, you know, I just want to see what that game is like. Apparently it is still open world, just like Infamous was, but I'm curious what it's going to play like, right? So I think that's going to be a very interesting one that you're going to want to get to very quickly, because people will want to see that. So after that, I think basically what I'll do after that is kind of get rid, in a way, you know, of all their other exclusives that are on sort of like the lower tier of the spectrum. What I'm talking about there is, for example, Dreams, right? I don't think any of these games are going to be shown off in a major way. It could be like a montage, it could be like, you know, just a couple of quick trailers, one after another, right? So I think, yeah, Dreams is going to be one to show off. Coming out this year, it's not really the type of game that you show off, or that can be showed off well at a press conference. It's the type of game that people need to play to get it, most likely. And so I think what's going to be very important is that they'll announce a beta for Dreams coming this year that you can check out. Hell, maybe it will even release literally on the day of the E3 press conference, or like a couple days after or whatever. But I think that they're going to do a beta for Dreams because it's what that game needs. And so we'll see a small little trailer for that. Of course, still coming out somewhere this year. Let's see. Then we also have, of course, Days Gone, which I don't think they're going to show off Days Gone in any major way, because they already showed it off twice with a gameplay demo at the last E3s. Still looking quite rough, honestly. And Game Informer literally just now did coverage on it, where they showed like an hour or an hour and 40 minutes or something, I think, of the full game. So we just saw a lot of gameplay. They're not gonna do that again. So maybe like a story trailer, giving us an indication of when the game is coming out, which I would expect to be early to spring 2019. Well, likely, you know, I don't know if we're really gonna see like release dates or windows, or no release windows whatsoever for these games, but I expect, just like what they did with God of War last year, yeah, that for these games they'll announce a window, you know. So Days Gone might be like spring, and then Ghost of Tsushima also gonna be like early 2019, I think. So like I said, we have that, Dreams, Days Gone. Of course, they also had the Medieval remaster announcement at PSX last year. So I think those three are the kind of B-tier games that are still going to be cool on the exclusive side, but they're not on that absolute top with the Spider-Mans and Last of Us and Death Stranding. So yeah, that's basically the way I see it. So then we have to get to the third party and the independent stuff. This is always hard to predict, because, you know, it could go either way. Some of them will go to Microsoft, some of them will go to Sony, some of them will be shown off at the press conferences from the third parties themselves, like EA and Ubisoft. Square Enix is doing a show now as well. So I think, you know, this is not super important to discuss, in my opinion, the third party stuff. But what I expect, first of all, Remedy games with P7. That's like their new project. The reason why I think that it's going to be shown off at the Sony press conference is basically because this is going to be the first time, at least in a long while, I'm not sure exactly, that Remedy Games is doing a third-party game that comes out on several platforms, right? Before this, they did Quantum Break on the Xbox and PC, and Alan Wake. So now that they're doing a multi-plat game, I think that it's going to be important for them to show it off on Sony stage, you know, to immediately like establish that, oh, this game is coming for PlayStation 2, and that fans, you know, or PlayStation fans should get excited for this game. And I think, you know, like Remedy games, to me, I've only played Alan Wake, not Quantum Break. I will eventually play it. I think they make cool games. They're not exactly, yeah, they're also not on that A tier yet, I feel, but who knows, maybe this P7 project could be there. I just think that you know, they make the type of games I love though, story-driven single-player games. So I hope this is exactly going to be that as well, and it's going to fit right at home with all the other PlayStation games, because PlayStation gamers love playing those type of games. So yeah, I think that could be a really cool one to show off. The other one is, yeah, Shadows Die Twice from Software games, or From Software I should just say. See, initially, I had this feeling that we were gonna see Bloodborne 2, but just recently there were some rumors. Apparently they're not working on it, and at the same time, Shadows Die Twice is the only thing they want to focus on this E3. So I initially thought that that game was going to be shown off at Microsoft, and that they would keep their other announcement being Bloodborne 2 for Sony, but I kind of don't think it's happening at the moment anymore. Which makes me think that we're gonna see what Shadows Die Twice exactly is at this Sony press conference. And no doubt it's gonna be a, you know, great game, but it's gonna be something different. So we'll have to wait and see what that's exactly about. Devil May Cry 5 was already rumored for a very long time. You know, that it's apparently also even maybe like exclusive to PlayStation, or it was PlayStation and PC or something. I don't exactly remember, but this has been, you know, like in the news for the longest, that the game is apparently in development, that it's coming, and so that one will most likely also be shown off here at the Sony press conference. And last of all, on the third-party side, Call of Duty Black Ops 4 is kind of, you know, the game that you know is going to be shown off, because ever since Sony got the rights for the marketing deals and the DLC and stuff, they've been showing it off every year. At first with gameplay demos for like Infinite Warfare, last year they just did a trailer for World War II, and so I think they'll do the same thing, just show a trailer for Black Ops 4 somewhere in between as part of the third-party plans. That's basically what I predict for the third-party stuff. Again, there is a lot, of course, that they could also show. People bring up Red Dead Redemption 2, of course, but I think Rockstar honestly doesn't give a crap. They never do, so I just don't expect it to be shown whatsoever. Let's see, yes, Cyberpunk, for example, is most likely going to be shown, but I expect that one to be maybe for Microsoft. Of course, the Remedy game could be at Microsoft as well, because they do have the relationship with them in the past, with Quantum Break and Alan Wake, so who knows. Rocksteady could be showing off a game, you know, the Superman game or whatever is rumored. That could be either here or at Microsoft, but I think it's going to be Microsoft. And then we still have, you know, the Avengers game from Square Enix. We have Kingdom Hearts, Tomb Raider. These are all Square Enix games that I think are going to be shown off at that specific Square Enix press conference. And so possibly also get an appearance here, but most likely won't. But that could be, you know, different for each individual game. We'll have to wait and see, basically, what is going to happen there. So we have a little bit left. First of all, we got to talk about PlayStation VR, which there's not a whole lot to predict there for me. I think VR is kind of the section that people are going to be like, you know, pretty whatever about. They'll have some games there to keep PSVR owners happy for sure, but it's not going to be something too exciting. Likely this montage thing again, or just a couple of trailers, one after another for 5 to 10 minutes, showing off what's new and what's coming to PSVR. So that's going to be cool. One thing I did wrote down for PSVR possibly is that I could see Ready at Dawn actually coming with a PlayStation VR project, because they recently said apparently that they are working on like 4 different projects at once. I really hope one of those is an eventual The Order sequel. I just think they'll need more time for that if they're working on so much. They just released this Lone Echo VR experience for Oculus Rift. I don't know if they're allowed to also put that on PlayStation VR. I could see that happening, or I could see them doing something else entirely, because Lone Echo won a lot of awards. Apparently people really like that game in VR, so I could see Ready at Dawn doing some small project for Sony for PlayStation VR. So yeah, that's gonna be cool to see if they do decide to do that. They also pointed out that one of their projects was close to being finished already, so again, it tells me that they're most likely going to be showing something off. Yeah, then we gotta talk about the closing part. We basically have 2 games left. I think, you know, one of course is going to be Spiderman, which we know is going to be focused on. Yeah, I'm not sure if we're going to see gameplay. I guess so, but it's you know, close to being released, so I don't know if they still want to show gameplay for it. People know what to expect from it. People know it's going to be awesome, and they're going to buy it for sure. But this one will most likely reiterate Spider-Man is coming in like, you know, 3 months or whatever at that point. Get it, it's going to be great, and no doubt that it will be. And then to close it off, I already talked a bit about it, The Last of Us Part 2. Simply because it's sort of like the safe bet, right? I mean, Sony has been closing off their E3 shows with Naughty Dog games since forever. You know, The Last of Us closed off 2012, Uncharted 4 closed off 2015 and 14, actually 14 and 15, yeah. And so no doubt that The Last of Us Part 2 is going to close off this one. That gameplay demo, I don't know what to expect, but it's going to be something like a full 10 minutes or something. It's going to be awesome. Yeah, what exactly to expect from it, who knows? They had an awesome Brutal-like demo in 2012, so I'm sure it's going to be something similar to that, showing off what the gameplay is like, playing with Ellie. And so, yeah, that's no doubt, you know, gonna be a great one as well. As far as the release date there goes, I've been saying it for a long time. I expect the game is coming out in, you know, May or June of 2019. So what I could see them do is either put the window of summer 2019 or something on it, or spring, or they'll simply say 2019, or they won't say anything whatsoever. But that's pretty much what I expect. Like I already said at the beginning, I don't have a whole lot of outlandish stuff in this predictions video, just because having read that PlayStation blog post, I don't expect much outlandish stuff to happen, simply said. Yeah, again, The Order, the next Order game, or the new Ready at Dawn IP, this massive AAA game that they're working on, I still think it's happening, of course. It's gonna happen, no doubt, one of the two, but they will likely need more time. Bloodborne 2 with From Software, I'm sure it'll happen eventually sometime, but for now it seems that that's not what they're going to be focusing on. Is there anything else that I left out? Not really, actually. Yeah, Red Dead Redemption, I already told you, Rockstar just doesn't care, they're not going to show it off. And all those other third-party games I could see being shown off either here, at Microsoft, at Square Enix, these other press conferences. That's basically what it comes down to, that's what I expect. And if this is what we get, you know, I'll reiterate once more, I guess, that this is going to be a great show. Sony has a bunch of awesome games that are no doubt going to be great. It's just that the thing that makes an E3 press conference amazing is the surprises, right? That's why I love 2015 and 2016. That's why 2017 was a little disappointing. What they showed there was still great, and what they're showing now is going to be even a bit better with Death Stranding and Last of Us and, you know, Ghost of Tsushima, hopefully. Those games are better than the ones they showed off last year. Yet at the same time, we know to expect it. We know this is what they're going to be showing off, and so I hope that they'll still have a couple more surprises outside of what I mentioned, because if they do, then it's really going to be able to at least still live up to the hype and, yeah, be an awesome show, right? So let me know what you expect from the Sony press conference. It was a very long video, but I pretty much stopped caring about the length of my videos, trying to like cut them down in short sizes and stuff. I don't make as many videos anymore as I normally used to do, because I kind of want to get rid of that whole, you know, upload mentality. I just want to put out big, awesome videos that are fun to watch and that you'll look forward to every now and then. So, yeah, I hope you really enjoyed this video. If you want to help support me, of course, leave a quick like to help me out. Become a Patreon supporter at patreon.com/robingaming for just $1 per month and get a lot of awesome rewards. Going to be doing a Q&A, I think tomorrow on there, so that's going to be super cool. But for now, thank you all for watching this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and then I hope to see you again next time.